The next marvelous advancement in robotics is artificial intelligence.
We should never have let AI out of the box.
There isn't anything they can't do.
The only reason I wanted to see this film is because it's directed by Gareth Edwards. I enjoy Gareth Edwards as a director, and they heavily promoted this film as like, oh, this grand event, and I'm like, okay, well, you know, I did enjoy Rogue One. I thought Rogue One was the best Star Wars Disney film that has ever come out. So I figured, yeah, why not? Why don't I give the creator a shot? And then on top of that, you got John David Washington, and you know he's got star power because he did Tenet with Christopher Nolan.
I ordered my hot sauce an hour ago.
The main focus here is AI. So AI is out there, and it's self-aware, it's enhancing, and they've created the ultimate weapon. And the ultimate weapon is in the form of a small child. But then see, here's the thing, it's not human though. And so then this movie asks the question, are human lives more important than AI that is self-aware? I enjoy how this film illustrates that point between human beings and AI, but then I also feel that within that illustration, there is a hint of reality.
When the war started, they protected me. Took better care of me than humans would have. They're my family.
They're not people, Maya. They're not real. You and I are real.
This isn't real.
Even though I feel like this story had good ideas and some of those ideas had hints of realism in there, which I enjoyed, I do feel like this story goes through the motions and getting us from point A to point B. So you kind of know what to expect as the film progresses, but the thing that did catch me off guard was that this film has 4 different chapters in it. So there are 4 different chapters here, or titles, that you need to pay attention to. There's a lot of stuff on screen that you need to pay attention to.
My favorite cinema is very visually driven. When it's really cinematic, it's like beyond words. It's like a dream.
I had a good time. I feel that the movie is magnificently beautiful visually. From what I understand is that they went to each location, they shot these scenes on location, and it shows on screen. Like from the very opening, you see the landscape, you see the scenery, and it is magnificently beautiful.
And so we shot in Japan, Indonesia, Cambodia, Vietnam, Thailand, Nepal. I
realized ultimately that all this stuff that I felt was, you know, just going on and going through the motions, by the end of it, it was effective. It was effective in building the connections between the characters and building the relationships, some of it more than others. But then once we reached the final conclusion, a single tear came from my eye.
Oh my dear God. Are you one of those single tear people?
What the movie gave us was a story about love, death, family, relationships, children, and all the ins and outs between this life and after. Well, I wouldn't say it dives super deep into death, but I feel like it does have some interesting moments that have to do with death. And I was satisfied with that. Even though the middle portion of this film, I think, dragged on a little too long. But by the end of it all, I was ultimately satisfied with what was delivered. That's all I have to say.
Are you going to heaven?
No. You gotta be a good person to go to heaven.
So, we're the same. We can't go to heaven because you're not good. And I'm not a person.